Hello, I'm Kathy Coughlin, a member of the Goffstown Library Board of Trustees. I'm here today to go over the survey results from the summer of 2018. The Goffstown Library Board of Trustees created a survey using Google Forms. A notice was placed in the spring tax bill, and we also advertised it in person via National Night Out and on Old Home Day. There was also information on the library website as well as on social media. We received 554 completed surveys, mostly via the Google link. However, several surveys were submitted in paper and were entered into the online system. The following is going to be a series of slides that's going to go over the results. Here's the first one. Question 1. Overall, how important is the Goffstown Public Library to our community? 69%, or 381 people, answered the library is essential. 22%, or 122, answered it is very important. Overall, 92% of respondents answered in the positive, while less than 8% selected average, little, or not at all important. The next slide shows the most well-known services at the library, which are Items for Loan, the Museum Pass program, which is funded by the Friends of the Goffstown Public Library, Interlibrary Loan, our children's programming, and access to public computers. Lesser-known services included our databases, research assistance, and printing and copying. The next question was, do you currently use the Goffstown Public Library? 474, or 86% of the respondents said yes, while 72, or 13%, responded no. The frequency of use was balanced among all answers, with the highest percent being several times a month at 29.8%. Next, we asked respondents why they didn't use the library. The top selections were, I'm too busy, hours do not fit my schedule, I use a different library, locations not convenient, and unaware of services other than book lending. Only 33% of respondents knew the Goffstown Public Library gives them access to e-library resources, such as genealogy sites and Explore homework help. The Goffstown Public Library is part of GMILCS, which gives our cardholders access to materials from our library and 11 other area libraries, and they can use their card at those member libraries. This next graph contains a lot of information. It is a rating of the current library services. Blue is excellent, red is good, yellow, fair, green is poor, and the purple is do not use this service. Items for Loan, Museum Pass program, and Interlibrary Loan were rated excellent by most respondents. There were very few responses for fair or poor, with the exception of comfortable seating. The next chart highlights the frequency of use of the programs listed in the previous slide. Blue is frequently, red infrequently, yellow rarely, and green is never. Items for Loan and Interlibrary Loan were most frequent, and the age of the respondents played heavily into these responses, as well as the category. People may borrow books frequently compared to using the museum passes once or twice a year. Next, we also wanted to know how people heard about the library offerings. The monthly newsletter and library website were the most common ways, with social media and signs on the lawn being the next highest rated. This information will help the library know how to reach out to the community in the future. We then asked about potential future services. Blue is very interested, red, somewhat interested, yellow, not at all interested, green is do not know what this is. Additional museum passes was the most sought after item, followed by community-led classes and expended weekday and weekend hours. Based on comments, it appears people want more passes available for each day. Last year, the Friends of the Goffstown Public Library did add 2 state park passes to the assortment. There was lower interest in GED classes, technology tutoring, or a cafe space. The next question was about age. The age of the respondents did vary. However, an older demographic was more heavily represented. 17 or younger is a darker blue with 10 responses, or 1.8% of the total. 18 to 29 is red, had 32, or 5.9%. 30 to 39 years old is yellow with 117, or 21%. 40 to 54 is green with 155, or 28%. 55 or older is purple at 224, or 41%. And 9, or 1.6%, preferred not to answer the question in light blue. We also inquired about the size of the households, which followed with the previous results, with the younger respondents living in larger households than the older respondents. Next, we wanted to gauge the level of support of expanding the current library building on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest level of support. 40% selected 5, 23% chose 4, 21% chose 3 or neutral, 6% chose 2, and 8% chose 1. 63% of respondents were favorable, 21% were neutral, and 14% were unfavorable. We will dive into these numbers a little bit deeper in a bit. We then wanted to know how valuable respondents viewed certain services not currently offered at the library. Very valuable is blue, somewhat valuable is red, and not valuable is in yellow. A separate children's area rated the highest, followed by teen space and tutoring program, with the least valuable being a cafe space or room for exhibits. The following section contains a deeper look at the data. Google Forms places the surveys into a spreadsheet, which allowed us to use formulas to get specific information. I have a sample formula on the slide. The formulas begin at 13 because prior to releasing our official survey, we did some test responses. These were cleared from the data, but still had a line on the spreadsheet. The first one we broke down was the question about library expansion based on whether a respondent used or didn't currently use the library. 35% of respondents who didn't use the library were in favor of expansion. 27% were neutral, and 36% were against. While 67% of current users favor expansion, 20% were neutral, and 11% were against. We were pleased to have so many non-users be in favor of expansion. Next, you'll see that we broke the same question out based on age. Every age group favored expansion. However, the older demographic was least in favor of expansion. We then broke down the importance of the Goffstown Public Library to the community based on their age. All age groups said the library was essential or very important. Only 2 respondents under the age of 40 said the library had little or no importance to our community. This is very promising for the future. This is the end of the detailed breakdown from our survey. The Library Board of Trustees wants to thank everyone for taking the survey, as well as everyone who left a comment, and as well as people watching this program. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the library or email the Library Board of Trustees. We will be having an earlier than normal meeting on February 20th at 6 p.m. in order to invite the public to come and discuss this survey if there's any other questions or concerns. This is prior to our normal monthly board meeting. Thank you.